everyone, and welcome to this extra special episode of the Respawning Fire podcast. Probably the most unpodcast-like episode of the show that there's ever been, if I'm being totally honest. I'm Alexander Kazina, aka Kozibear, and you're currently watching Respawning Fire's special episode for January of 2025. Basically, if this is your first time tuning in, every month we do a rotating show. Sometimes it's a game show like RAF. Sometimes it's a movie commentary like the one we did for Monster Hunter last month, which we released for our Patreon subscribers to enjoy a month before everyone else on patreon.com/respawnaimfire. This time, however, I pitched to my fellow co-hosts a bit of a different idea than normal for this month's rotating show. You see, I just wrapped up the series finale of Kozibear's Cooking, a live cooking show that I streamed on my personal Twitch and YouTube channels for many years, and I was feeling a little bit sad about immediately tearing down the show's set. Certainly, I thought to myself, I could record something a little extra on the set before I do away with it and move on to the next phase of my online career. It's then that it occurred to me, what if, to celebrate both my tenure at Respawning Fire, nearly 2.5 years and counting, and to usher in the new year, I baked myself a big old cake for January's special episode using my old set. And not just any cake, but a cake in the form of Respawning Fire's own logo. That's exactly what we're going to be doing today on this show. It's going to be a one-man production. No Chad, Adam, or Joel will be joining me, so just sit back, relax, and let my dulcet tones wash over you as I make what is sure to be a delectable dessert. Now, every dessert needs a good recipe, and the recipe for today's dessert comes courtesy of something that I know that Chad Michael Ennis is going to appreciate a lot. This is Destiny, the official cookbook by Victoria Rosenthal. It's a cookbook that I've consulted many times in the past for both my streaming efforts and also on my own time. And the recipe that we're going to be using today to make our cake is this recipe for the Infinite Forest cake. There's a bit of a glare, so it's a little bit hard to see, but you can see the picture just fine. I made this cake once before in the past. It came out okay, and I figured, you know what? Why not do another crack at it today? Let me read to you a little bit about the description of the Infinite Forest cake. I heard from a guardian returning from Nessus that a failsafe from one of those Exodus ships of yore is still around, and that it was taught to wish everyone a happy dawning. I know full well that a ship AI can't eat cake, but anyone who is in the dawning spirit deserves a treat. This chocolate and cherry cake is a rich delight created for that purpose. I just need to find someone who can resist eating it long enough to deliver it to me. Now, a couple things. First things first, at the very top of the instructions for this particular recipe, there is a little section where it basically instructs us to make a cherry filling. It says, the night before, we're going to combine cherries, water, honey, and sugar in a saucepan, bring it to a boil, and reduce to a simmer for 30 minutes. Cook until the liquid has reduced by 1/4, place the mixture in a bowl, cover, and allow it to rest in the refrigerator overnight. We have already gone ahead and done that. This right here is a glass containing a portion of the cherry mixture, which we'll be able to use on the stream. Second thing is, so in calculating how much cake that I wanted to make today, I determined very quickly that we are basically going to need to make 3 times the amount of what is required for us in this original recipe. So in the original recipe, it'll say 3/4 of a cup of cocoa powder, and we're going to actually have to use 3 times that, which would be 2 1/4 of a cup, although the way we're going to be doing this is a little bit complicated and out of order because we're going to be making multiple batches at once. So when we get to the first step in the recipe that calls for cocoa powder, we'll actually be mixing together like a cup and 2 tablespoons of the stuff first, because we're going to be making one batch and then we'll be making another batch. Once we get into the recipe itself, you will see just what we're going to be doing. We're going to make multiple batches. We're going to assemble it all together in a square-ish shape on this little cake board that I have here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to apply a little bit of the icing and a little bit of the cherry spread. Then we're going to cut the pieces apart so that we can create the little individual squares that are in the upper left and lower right corners of the logo. We're going to apply red, yellow, and blue food colorings to our cream cheese frosting, apply the frosting to the individual pieces, and then bring it all back together. That's the plan for this evening, and so without further ado, let's go ahead and let's jump into our steps. As usual, if you've never been to Kozibear's Cooking, never watched one of my streams, I tend to transcribe most of the recipe instructions to my phone because it's usually much easier to consult that than to have to constantly open up a very big, voluminous, and sometimes heavy cookbook. So step one, and this is, of course, all after all the cherry fruit spread stuff, we're going to kick things off by preheating our oven to 350 degrees. I already went upstairs and did that just ahead of this recording, so that is taken care of. Step number two, we're going to whisk together 1 cup and 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, half a cup of our cherry fruit spread, and 1 cup and 2 tablespoons of hot water together in a bowl. Let's go ahead and let's bring in our top-down camera. This is probably very exciting. I've never seen my streams before. I already have in this bowl over here half a cup of our cherry fruit spread all ready to go. So next up, let's go ahead and let's prepare our cocoa powder. Part of the reason why I like to have the instructions transcribed to my phone as well is I can specifically mark off ingredients that I know that I've added to my mixing bowl or my whatever so far. So we're going to measure out a cup of cocoa powder. I'm going to try not to get things too messy, but I know that I'm going to have to do a little bit of cleanup later no matter what. About 3/4 of a cup. There we go. That is a cup of cocoa powder. And next up, let's grab our measuring spoon. And oh, by the way, I can actually zoom in a little bit, give you guys a better view of the action. And now I'm going to measure out 2 cups, 2 tablespoons of this stuff and add it to our bowl. There we go. That's tablespoon number 1. And that's tablespoon number 2. And there we go. And we'll put a cover on this thing for the time being. And next up for the hot water, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick little trip over to our sink, and we're going to add a cup of hot water and 2 tablespoons of hot water by means of the sink's nozzle. Very ingenious, I know. Let's see here. We'll start with the tablespoons first. Also, this gives us a bit of an opportunity to rinse it out a little bit. We need to wait for it to get hot, though. It's the only thing. And also, we need to... Yeah. We need to slow it down a little bit, otherwise it'll all just splash out of the tablespoon. And there we go. That's 2 of our tablespoons. And next up, we have the cup. I'm just looking this up to see that this is about right. Sorry, I need to level it a little bit more. Maybe I can remove a little bit. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, I think that's good. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pour it in there. And there we go. And we will now return to the regular set. And let's grab ourselves the same spoon that we used earlier to mix this up. We don't have to be incredibly thorough. We just need to make sure that it's all nice and cohesive. All right. There are going to be some parts in the bowl that are like a little clumpy, but a lot of those are actually the cherries. All right, and I think that is good for now. Let me just... I know that like I'm going to have to do a more thorough cleanse later, but just to keep things a little bit clean, I am going to just do a little bit more of a cleanup on the table. Alrighty, and with that, let's move on to step number 3. We're going to mix together 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 1.5 tablespoons of baking soda, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1.5 teaspoons of salt together in another bowl. Let me just grab the Destiny official cookbook real quick, because I think it's good to have this on the side, just in case I need to ever consult anything. All right, here we go. We're going to mix it up all in this bowl right over here. All right, we'll use another measuring cup for this. There we go. Once again, another substance that's going to just cause a whole lot of messiness on the table. And grab a little more flour. There we go. I'm trying to be as exact with these measurements as possible, and there's still not quite enough flour to make me satisfied. So let's add a little bit more. Level it out. There we go. That's 2 cups of flour, which means that now we're ready to add our 3rd cup. All right. We're almost at a cup. Let me just add another spoonful and we should be good. There we go. There we go. That's our 3 cups of flour, which means next up we got to get our teaspoons of baking powder, baking soda, and salt in here. Let's start with our magic baking powder first. I call it magic baking powder because here in Canada, we have this one brand that's literally called like magic baking powder. I know in many other places of the world, that particular brand does not exist. There we go. That is our 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Next up, baking soda. I like that the baking soda box has like the little thingy on top. Makes it easier to measure out exactly a spoon of however much of a measurement you're going for. There we go. 1.5 teaspoons. And finally, salt. Rather than bring the whole salt shaker down, I just measured out a little cup of the stuff, so we'll just use this. There we go. 1 teaspoon. And 1/2 teaspoon. 1/2 teaspoon. 1/2 teaspoon. We're going to go ahead and we're going to check those 3 things off. And let's go ahead. Sorry, just checking my headset, making sure it's good, making sure it's properly attached. I've never had an incident where it's fallen off in the middle of my streams, but I always just want to make sure that it's a-okay. Perfect. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to mix this stuff up. Alrighty, let's go ahead and let's move on to the next step. Step number 4, we're going to cream together 1.5 cups of unsalted butter and 2 cups and a fourth worth of sugar in a large bowl until smooth, and then mix in 3 eggs and 1.5 tablespoons of vanilla extract. So let's go ahead, we'll move these 2 bowls over to the side, and we'll bring in our Big Mama bowl. Let's actually zoom out a little bit for this, because it will make things a little easier to view, at least for now. Let's see here. Let's grab our butter. One of these blocks here is a total of 2 cups, so we need to cut off a fourth of it, and we'll get the amount of butter that we need. Now, the thing is I left this butter out on the table so it could come to room temperature, but I fear that it might not be... Yeah, I think we might need to actually melt it a little bit. Just a little bit. Maybe we might want to use the microwave. Let me think. Let's cut it off. Cut it into the quantity that we want it to be, though. First. So that is half of it. And that is half of half. Actually, we have... I just realized that we do have a digital scale, so if we want to be super accurate, we can actually just use the digital scale. Let's use that. Let's see. I'll use grams. Why not? Let's see. 440. No, wait. 466. 466. Okay, so... Let's take 466 and multiply it by 0.75. It's about 350. So if we remove this, what do we get? We get 355. So we can actually stands that we can use get rid of a little bit more. Okay, I think that's good. And now I'll wrap this fourth of a cup, or rather half of a cup of butter in a little bit of paper towel and just put it over here for the time being. Okay. So yeah, so this is the point where, yeah, we're going to have to cream the butter, but it's still a little bit hard. So you know what? I think I will actually use this, put this in the microwave for a little bit, just so it's a little bit softened. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go upstairs, take care of that, and I will be back in a jiff. We are back, and I would say that my butter has been nicely softened by the microwave. While I was upstairs, I actually got some lozenges. I got some cherry-flavored Halls, which is very appropriate for today's stream where we're going to be making a partially cherry-flavored cake. My throat's been a little bit sore. I'm still recovering from a cold, and so figured I'd loosen it up a little bit. All right, let's go ahead. Let's plop this into our big old bowl. I'm going to use our spatula to help get it in there, make sure that we're not letting anything be left in the bowl. And hold on, I'm trying to really make sure that I get as much butter in here. I'm trying to be as accurate as possible with my measurements. Okay. And next up, with the butter in the bowl, let's go ahead and let's add in our 2 1/4 of a cup of sugar. Our big old thing of sugar over here. We can move this briefly out of the way. Right now we have many things on the table, and it's making the process of moving things around it a little bit cumbersome, but slowly, ever so slowly but surely, as we move along with today's recipe, we will remove things from the table, and it will make things easier for ourselves. I'm going to go ahead, let's zoom in a little bit. Let's see, that's a little... I think it might be a little bit over. Use this spoon from earlier to take out some of our sugar. Be a little bit more accurate. There we go. That's definitely 2 cups of sugar. One of my hulls fell on the floor, so let's grab that. And next up, we need to measure out just 1/4. That is... Yep, that is 1/4. And there we go. All right. Let's go ahead and we'll bring it in the center over here. And let's plug in our hand mixer. The little electrical plug set up here in our trolley, and I can just plug that in there, and we are good to go. All right. And so we're just gonna mix all this stuff up until smooth. We don't need to go super duper crazy. Just got to make it smooth and cohesive. That's the current plan. And there we go. Just going to use the spatula to kind of scrape down sides a little bit. Get it all grouped up in the center. Scrape some of it off the thing, like that. There we go. Let's see here. Next up, yeah, we got to get our 3 eggs and our 1.5 tablespoons of vanilla extract in here. So let's grab some of our eggs, which I've been leaving at room temperature for the past several hours. It's egg number 1. Egg number 2. And that is egg number 3. Very good. And let's get our vanilla extract. I got 2 different bottles of vanilla extract, this bigger one and the smaller one, because I think we're going to run out of the bigger one by the end of today's stream. Where are the measuring spoons? The measuring spoons are around here somewhere. Where are they? There we go. There we go. Tablespoon number 1. Tablespoon 0.5. And I'm going to just put down a bit of paper towel for the measuring spoons now that they're a little bit wet. And now let's mix it up once more. It's going to look pretty nasty for a moment, but eventually, after enough mixing, it'll begin to look nice and cohesive and coherent and tasty all over again. And there we go. All right, and with that, we can move on to step number 5. We're going to... sorry, the little hulls is rolling around my tongue a lot. Let me just... I'm going to grind it down, suck up the grinds, and then we'll move on properly to the next step. I should actually... I have a little bottle of water on the table as well. This always comes in useful. There we go. That should help abate some of the mucus buildup that's happening in my throat. Step number 5. We're going to mix our cocoa powder mixture into our sugar mixture. Then we're going to mix half of our flour mixture into it until it just begins to come together. Then 1 cup and 2 tablespoons of sour cream, and then the remaining flour mixture until it's all fully combined. Let me just check something real quick. In our recipe book. Okay, looking good. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's add in our cocoa mixture. We're going to want to use the spatula once again for this. Let me actually zoom out a little bit because we got a lot of bowls going on here. A lot of bowls involved in this next step. All right, and there we go. Good enough for now. Let's go ahead and let's mix up this new mixture. Again, we're just going to scrape down the sides because I can see there's a lot of the original mixture that hasn't been properly incorporated into the cake we're attempting to make. Again, we got to now scrape it off the scraper with our thingamabobs. There we go. Mix it up a little bit more. I always do this at the end to allow excess of the excess cake dough to basically fly off into the sides of the bowl. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to mix half of our flour mixture in here. Let's see. We got to get ourselves A spoon that's not yet been spoiled. Here we... Oh, no, wait. Here we go. There we go. This is good. So we're going to, in our bowl, just do our best to kind of separate the flour mixture into two as best as we can do. There we go. I think that's about accurate enough. Now, let's go ahead and let's scrape some more of the sides in here. It's getting really thick. Very thick. Thick, thick, thick. Thick, thick. And mix it up a little bit more. Properly prime it for the sour cream that will come in the next step. All right. Yes. Let's just consult here. We need 1 cup and 2 tablespoons of sour cream. Sour cream is actually contained in our cooler pack over here, because I want to keep it cold for as long as possible. Let's see here. We can probably reuse this measuring cup, actually. Certainly smells like sour cream. Actually, I just realized something. I think we can actually just directly put this in the bowl. Sorry, I had a cough there. Let me just check something real quick. Sour cream, milliliters, 2 cups. All right, and if we do the calculations, it doesn't actually perfectly work out. Yeah, okay. We'll measure it in the cup first, and then we'll put it in the bowl. And we got so many things on the table right now. Eventually, as we progress, we will gradually remove things from the table, and it will be a slightly more workable work environment. But right now, we got a lot of stuff. Let's see. Still a little bit under a cup. All right. Sorry, that was a little slow going there. Let's get out our other bigger tub. Sour cream. Hold on. Let me put that there. There we go. I think that's about a cup. So let's go ahead. I am going to... I'll just wipe down the sides of the spatula on the bowl. Get some of the excess chocolate cake batter mixture out of there. And then we'll use that to get our... Where is... I'm looking for the measuring spoons, because we got to measure out 2 tablespoons. Here we go. Yeah, we're measuring out 2 tablespoons of sour cream next, now that we've gotten our full cup in there. This is quite the complicated ordeal, I can say that much. Let's see here. Let's see here. There we go. Just want to go back to the recipe instructions. And there we go. Let's, hold on. We can use the spatula a little bit more to get a little bit extra in here, but it's not that big of a deal if we can't. All right. That was a very messy and long step, but now we can finally move on to mixing this mixture up once more. And there we go. Let me just... I'm going to put the sour cream back in the cooler pack for a moment. I needed to... Next time I go upstairs, I'm going to grab a lot more spoons and knives because I'm going through them really fast on the stream. We're going to just zip up the cooler pack to keep it as cool as possible for as long as we can. Next up... yes, that's right. We need to add in the rest of the flour mixture, of course. Cannot forget about that. And there we go. And let's mix it up. I'm going to leave this in here, but I am going to use the, or can I leave this in here? It might be a little tricky. I think I might have to just temporarily take it out. And maybe I can, but it's hard to do this while also holding this and while also, here we go. If I hold it like this, I can both keep that thing upright and I can scrape down the sides of the bowl. Now a bunch of the cake batter is falling on the sides of the mixer. Crap. Even looks like crap, which doesn't help things. Let me just wipe down my finger a little bit. Okay. Let's zoom out for a moment while we move on to our next step. We're going to spray our two 9x13-inch baking pans with nonstick spray, split the cake batter between the two pans, and then bake them both in the oven for 30 minutes or until both are done. I have our two 9x13-inch pans right over here. Whoops, that was the cake board. Nothing to be concerned about. Let me just put it at an angle so it doesn't fall over again. There we go. Here's number 1 and number 2. I think to make things extra easy for us, extra helpful, I'm actually going to apply a bit of parchment paper to both as well, in addition to the nonstick spray. I know that some people might view that as a little... Ow. I grazed the side of my finger with that. But the only thing is, I don't actually have that much of this stuff right now. Let me just see. If I put some at, like, the bottom, then I'll definitely have enough for, like, another tray. Then maybe I can reuse it afterwards for the other one. I don't have a scissor down here. Let me go. I'm going to run upstairs real quick, grab a pair of scissors, and I'm also going to grab some more spoons. I am back, and I have quite a few different things. As you can see, I have many a spoon, and I also have a pair of scissors, which we will need to use to cut our parchment paper. Okay, let's see here. There we go. I think that's fine enough. Although, maybe what I should do is, I'm wondering if maybe I should do like parchment paper for one and don't need to do parchment paper for the other. Because the problem is I know what's going to happen is like a lot of the cake batter is going to fall through the cracks of this. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to put this over to the side. If the first set of cakes I bake turn out really bad, I'll use the parchment paper for the subsequent 2 batches. If it turns out okay, well, we won't need to use the parchment paper at all. There we go. Nice and greased up. Just put this back over here for a moment. And there we go. All right. Let's see here. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to divide it evenly between the two pans. Let's start off. Number one, I'm actually going to remove the little things from our hand mixer. And I bet I can use... Yeah, what I can do is, let me just wipe off some of the parts of the scraper. There we go. And now I can actually use the spatula to scrape some of the cake off into here. It's a little tough, but from here things are going to get a lot easier. So I'm just going to bear through this, and then things will pick up over time. Put that over there. Same thing with this bad boy. Gonna get as much of the batter. I keep saying dough, but it's batter. It's batter. Scrape as much of the batter off of this thingamabob into the thing, and then we'll shift our attention over to the bowl itself. All right. Again, I gotta wipe down my hand. Wipe it down. Wipe it down. And let's go ahead and let's get our cake in here. Good amount of the batter. Oh, didn't want it to fall over. That would have been bad. Ugh, this is tough. It's like, it's pretty heavy and thick batter. It's not easy to spread about. Not as easy as I thought it was going to be. Okay, I don't know if we're done with this one yet, but I'm going to put this over to the side. So I can put some more into this one. Cake board again. We'll deal with that later. They're both kind of even, but I think this one over here could definitely use a little bit more. Let's get some more in there. Again, we have so many things on the table right now, but once we get through the next few steps, we'll be able to start taking things off and giving ourselves a little more space. All right. They're not perfectly uniform. I wish there's just a spot over here in this corner where I wish there was a little bit more stuff. We can get a little bit more in there. There we go. All right. I think that's about good enough. I think that's about as even as we're going to get them. My hands are a little bit dirty, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to bring in the sync camera so that I can clean them just a little bit before I put them in the oven. Here we go, and we'll dry them a little bit. This dish towel. And we will bring that camera out. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put them in the oven. I'll be right back. We are finally back. The cakes are in the oven, which means that we can move on to our next step. Step number 7. While our first set of cakes bake in the oven, we're going to make another batch of our chocolate cake batter by repeating steps 2 through 5. So we're going all the way back to step number 2, which is where we whisk together a cup and 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, half a cup of our cherry fruit spread, and 1 cup and 2 tablespoons of hot water together in a bowl. We'll just reuse the same bowl as last time, but this time around we can speed run things a little bit now that we know where we gotta go. We'll go ahead, put our second half a cup of cherry fruit spread in here. There we go. What's next? Our cocoa powder, right? We can go ahead. Let's use this cup for this one. There's not enough cocoa powder in here, so I'll just dump to the left of this container. I think I might need to use another spoon, or maybe a knife, actually. Yeah, I can use a knife to scrape down some of the insides. Going to go ahead, we're going to put that in the trolley. You see there's all sorts of things that are already getting off the table. Sorry, just to refresh myself. 1 cup and 2 tablespoons. Right. We can reuse the same knife, actually, for now. So about 2/3 of a cup. And there we go. That is exactly 1 cup. Put that in there. And then next up we have our tablespoons. Our big tablespoon is actually kind of covered in a lot of sour cream from earlier. So I'll wipe down the 1/2 tablespoon and we'll use this instead. So I'll just do four goes of the 1/2 tablespoon measuring spoon. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. And number 4. There we go. And now we'll be able to put our other thing of cocoa powder into the trolley and off the table. Oh, shit. I almost forgot. When we put our 2 cakes in the oven, we should have started our timer. Let's bring in our timer to sweet so that we can begin counting down to when they are ready. And I will go ahead and I'll turn that on. Look at a little graphic. I worked really hard getting that graphic in working order. And I think it is so beautiful. So yeah, maybe when we get to like 2 minutes before the timer is up, we'll go upstairs and preemptively check on it, see how it's doing. Okay. Got our cocoa powder cherry fruit spread in here, which means last we got to get in our hot water. Let's go ahead. Let's bring in our sink camera once again. I'm actually going to use this as an opportunity. I have this measuring cup right here that is still covered in a lot of icky stuff from the previous few times that we used it. So I'm going to actually wash it out first. I'm not going to be super thorough, but I'm going to be thorough enough that it looks presentable. And then we'll get to measuring out our hot water. And so I just need to put it over here to the side so I can check to see how it is when it's level. Yep, that is 1 cup of hot water. But I realize right now we need our additional 2 tablespoons, and I don't have the tablespoons right here. Let me go and retrieve it real quick. This will actually be another good opportunity to clean these guys out because they are currently pretty dirty themselves. So turn that on. And later on we can wipe them down with our paper towels as need be. So here we go. We have our 1 tablespoon of additional hot water and our 2nd tablespoon of additional hot water. I'm going to grab our measuring instruments in our bowl and I'm going to bring them back to our main cooking / baking station. Let's go ahead. Let's grab one of our spoons. Let's mix this bad boy up real good. Once again, it's going to be a very uneven and lumpy mixture because there's a lot of the cherry spread in here that is inherently lumpy. And there we go. We're going to push that over there to the side. Next up, it's our repeat of step number 3, which is where we're going to mix together 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, teaspoons of baking powder, and teaspoons of salt together in another bowl. We will reuse the same white bowl from earlier, and the same spoon, too. Let's see here. We can reuse this measuring cup. That'll be fine. We don't need this thing on the table anymore. This is actually recycling. Yeah, I'll just stick it in here for now. And I think that's about good. That's 2 cups, which means that we only got 1 cup left. I can add a little bit more, just a tiny bit more. There we go. Why is it? I thought I had more in here. Now that I've remeasured it after adding more, I feel like I actually have less. There we go. There we go. That's good. That's enough. And with that, we can roll up our flour and put it in our trolley for the time being. This will be very helpful because flour is one of the biggest things in our table. It takes up a lot of space, and this will definitely alleviate that by quite a bit now that it's gone. All right. Let's go ahead. I'm just going to use some paper towel to clean out our measuring spoons so that we can measure. First, 1.5 teaspoons of magic baking powder. Go. Next up, our baking soda. Not magic this time, because I've never seen a brand called magic baking soda. There we go, 1 teaspoon. And 1/2 teaspoon. That goes in the trolley. And next up, last but not least, is our salt. I don't remember if we're going to need our salt or not for our, what is it? The frosting. So I'm going to keep the salt on the table, but it's very small, so it doesn't occupy much space. And there we go. And let's go ahead and let's mix this up. Make it nice and cohesive. Make sure that our powders and salt are all nicely incorporated into the wheat that it surrounds. And there we go. That is taken care of. We still have quite a few minutes left on our timer for our cakes that are currently baking in the oven upstairs. Although we did start the timer a little bit late, so maybe it's all more closer to like 19 minutes left. We'll go ahead and we'll tick off everything there. Step 4, repeat of step 4. We're going to cream together 1.5 cups of unsalted butter and 2 cups and a fourth of sugar in a large bowl. Sorry, I had a brief moment where I was like, oh shit, did I accidentally put in too much sugar last time? Because I saw the 2 1/4 cups and I was like, shit, did I put in 4 cups of sugar last time? No, I put in 2 1/4 cups of sugar. We'll just reuse the same bowl. The bowl is covered in some of the detritus from the previous batter that was used to make in here, but very, very little, so it won't interfere with things all that much. Let's see here. Butter, like last time, I think we're probably going to want to microwave our butter. Let's return to our calculator from earlier. We want about 350 grams of the stuff. So you know what we're going to do is, I'm going to cut the butter in half as well as I can. And we'll grab our measuring scale. And we'll put our bowl here, and then we'll reset for our bowl. And then that's about 235. We'll grab the other piece of butter from earlier. It's 350, perfect. And so this will be the butter that we're going to melt next. Before we do that, I'm just going to cover up this remaining little piece of butter. We have to remember that this is a cup of butter. We'll put it over there. Let's go ahead and let's actually measure out the sugar first, just to mix things up a little bit. Let's see. Just a little under 2 cups. Two cups. Now a fourth. Might have put a little too much in here, or did I? No, I think we're good. We will need to use sugar for when we make our frosting, but we're not going to need to use this type of sugar. We're going to need to use confectioner's sugar, also known as icing sugar or powdered sugar. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our sugar, or granulated sugar, into the trolley as well. And with that taken care of, I'm going to go upstairs so that I can microwave our butter. We are back, and our butter, as you can see, has been nicely melted once again. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to wipe down the sides of the spatula on the bowl like this. There we go. And now I'm going to use the same spatula to get our butter from this green bowl into the nice stainless steel bowl that we have over here. All right. I feel a little bit bad reusing these things while they haven't been properly wiped down, but I mean, we're going to be making the exact same cake batter mixture, so I don't think it really matters that much in the long run. So, yeah, let me just get them in there and begin mixing up. I don't want this to tip over, but I want to wipe down my hands a little bit. Just a little bit. No, now the side of my forearm has gotten a little batter on it. All right, let's mix it up. We can zoom in a little bit as well. Give you at home a better view of the action. Alrighty, very nice. Next up, let's go ahead and let's add in our 3 eggs, our 3 remaining eggs. After this, no more eggs at all in this recipe. Can you believe it? Number 1. Number 2. And number 3, all in there. And that means that we can actually now take the container that we were keeping our eggs stored in and put that in the trolley as well, making even more space for ourselves. Next up, we got to get our vanilla in here. We got to get 1.5 tablespoons of the stuff. Let's see. Oh, we got ourselves another full tablespoon. Will we be able to get a half tablespoon with what remains in here? Oh, wow. Just enough for an additional half tablespoon. And with that, this bottle is finito. We'll have to clean and recycle it a little bit later. Also, we don't need this pair of scissors on the table anymore, now that we're not going to be using the parchment paper, at least for now. So I'm going to put that over there. And now let's mix up some more of our batter. Again, this is the batter at its ugliest. It's not going to look very good, but after enough mixing, it'll begin to come together. All right. And next up is the big step, our repeat of step number 5. This is where we mix our cocoa powder mixture back into the sugar mixture. Then we're going to mix in half our flour mixture, then 1 cup and 2 tablespoons of sour cream, and then finally the remaining flour until it's all fully combined. Let's go ahead. Here we go. We're going to get our cocoa mixture in here. Again, we'll use our spatula to get as much of the stuff in here. There we go. And I don't think, yeah, I think we're probably good in terms of this bowl. I don't know that we're going to need to use it at any other points in this stream. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to schlep this in our trolley. Another big thing off the table. Let's see here. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's mix it up. I'm going to just wipe down the sides a little bit. Some of the excess down back into the center. And there we go. This thing keeps getting like hit by this piece of the hand mixer and it's getting all dirty. We don't want that. All right. Next up, we got to put half of our flour mixture in here. Let's go ahead. Let's separate half of it to the best of our ability and get it in. Also, you know what? Have another Hall's candy. Let's go ahead and let's have that right now. Give ourselves a little more pep for our throat. Again, we're going to scrape down the sides. Get it all in there. All right, half of the flour mixture is incorporated, which means next up is the sour cream. Let's see here. Again, we got to get a cup of this stuff in here first. All right. And yeah, that's good. Let's go ahead and let's use the spatula to get it in there. We'll move on to our 2 tablespoons next. Next up, let's go ahead and let's get our remaining 2 tablespoons in here. Get a little, just a touch in there more. There we go, and that's good. That is good. Let's go ahead. We'll cover up our sour cream. Just make sure there's nothing that accidentally got in there. So many dirty spoons. And I am gonna, whoops, now the wall's getting a little dirty. Zip up our cooler pack. Let me just, my hands are a little sticky. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna give them a quick rinse. Also, I found our soap dispenser, so I'm gonna use that while I'm here. And return to the kitchen. We're getting very close to the end of our timer. Let's focus on doing what we can. Hold on. Sync camera did not leave. All right. Let's mix this up. All right. And now, let's go ahead and let's pour in our remaining flour mixture. I'll put that over there to the side. And we're going to mix this up. We're getting a really, we're really making a messy workspace for ourselves. Let's use our spatula to scrape more of the stuff on the edges back in. And then we'll mix it up just a little bit more. All right, and I think that's good. I'm going to go ahead. Once again, we'll unplug these things in the bowl. We'll move this down to the trolley. I'm going to put this out of the way. I'm going to bring our wire rack onto the table. And with that, our timer is up. So I'm going to go upstairs and I'm going to retrieve our, hopefully, baked bakes. Our baked cakes is what I meant to say. Be right back. I am back, and as you can see, hold on, let's go ahead. We need to the full top-down camera for this one. we have two just beautiful looking baked chocolate cakes just ready to be just scrumptiously consumed once they've been obviously fully cooled down and properly layered with icing and the whole bit. We have a lot more work to do, but right now we have two beautiful cooked cakes, and I am oh so happy what we have managed to accomplish so far. As you can see, I am wearing my Evolution Cosmic Oven Mitts. Very cool. Would you not agree? Let's go ahead. They're very hot right now. As you can tell, they are very, very hot, but already right off the bat, I'm very pleased that all of the no-stick cooking spray we added seems to have made it so that they're properly separated from the baking trays that they were baked inside of. It's very good. Just helping them along a little bit with my knife. Yes, this is going to be very helpful when we plop them out of their trays. That is going to be for certain. I'm going to just go ahead. I'm going to grab my phone and just read a little bit ahead. So basically the idea is we're going to plop our two cakes here onto the wire rack that is underneath them. And then basically what we're going to do is we're going to head into our sink and we're going to do a major cleaning operation. We're going to clean up our two baking trays and we're going to respray them with non-stick spray. Also, I can bring my timer out temporarily while we're focusing on other stuff. There we go. And then, yeah, we're going to bake our second batch of cake batter in the oven for another 30 minutes. But yeah, right now, let's see, there's still... Pans are not as hot as when I first brought them out of the oven, but you know what we're going to do? I just remembered. I brought down my pizza peel, which is like a big old spatula. We're going to use this to plop our cakes out of the pans that they're in. Make things easier for ourselves. I don't know how easy this is going to be, but I do know for a fact that this will be easier than if we had attempted to like just take them out any other way. So yeah, easier than incredibly hard. But I'm gonna take one of them off the table. I'm gonna put one of them on this hot plate over on the side. Go. Let's see here. I think that we only need one oven mitt for this operation, actually. Okay. There we go. Upside down. This is like the things at hotels that you use to make waffles. And then I guess we gotta just push down on it. Get the cake to come out of here. Whoa. Wow, it actually worked. Hold on a sec. We got to make this reveal as cool as possible. Now there is, as you can see, a little bit of cake that's kind of stuck to the bottom. That is okay. Although, I want to see if I can, like, fill up as much of the cake right now as I can. Yeah, let me get as much of this stuff in here. I want to lose as little of the stuff as possible. Alright, yeah, just stick the stuff in these little crevasses where we can. And there we go. Tastes pretty good. Tastes pretty good. You know what I'm going to do while this is hot? I'm going to switch over to the sync camera, and I'm actually going to begin soaking this. Just so that we don't let the chocolate scraps inside the thing take too long to cool and harden. So yeah, we're just gonna fill that up, and then we will move back over to our table. And there we go. Let's go ahead. We're going to very carefully... I want to move the cake onto our wire rack, but now I fear that might be a little tricky. Uh-oh. We in trouble. Are we in trouble? Let me just move this thing of batter over here to the side. Ah, damn it. I thought I was so clever putting this on the peel, but now maybe I needed to put a thing of parchment paper underneath it. Or maybe I can flip it over again. It's a little risky, but you know what? I actually have the cake board that I can use for this. Now the other side has chocolate cake sticking to it. Hold on. Hold on. I was trying so desperately to put it on the wire rack, but maybe... Now I'm wondering if actually maybe what I should do is I should actually just keep it on the cake board just to sort of simplify my life. You know what? It's not great. I'm going to keep it on the cake board for now. I'm not going to bother with the wire rack. I'm going to keep things simple. All right. Let's move this over. We're going to attempt to do the same thing with the other cake. Thank you. Ooh, this one came out really good looking. Maybe I should have waited a little bit more for the other one. Oh, hold on. Yeah, I definitely should have waited more for the other one. Hold on. And have them overlapping like this. There we go. Okay, now I just gotta... We can center them a little bit more. That will make things easier for ourselves. Note to myself next time, we gotta wait a little bit more for the cakes to cool down before we do the flipperoonie. All right, it's not perfect looking, but we will be trimming off the edges of this thing a lot later on, so should be fine. Let's see here. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this over to the side for the time being to let them continue to cool. And remember, note to self next time, when we take the cakes out of the oven, we got to wait just a little bit before we do the whole peel flipperoonie thing. All right, let's go ahead and let's clean up these two bad boys. All right. Just do what we can. Loosen some of the stuff up with our fingers, considering we're going to be washing our hands as we do this as well, so it's not that big of a deal if we use them. It's not like we need to thoroughly cleanse these things, because we're going to be using them to make the exact same batter. Okay, there we go. Number one is cleaned. Let me just begin applying water for number two. While I'm just gonna use this cloth to wipe down the outside of number one. We don't want it steaming too much when it's in the oven, so the less damp we can make it, the better. All right, and we'll leave that to soak for a minute. Oh. Oh no, did I not bring in the sync camera for all that? Well, that is not great. I might have to do a little bit of editing later on. It's no big deal, though. At least I'm not doing this live. If I was doing this live, this would be very embarrassing. All right. Here we go. We'll use one of these hot plates to give it some distance between the desk underneath it, as the desk is rather dirty right now. I think the clanging of the bowl might have interrupted what it is I was trying to say. We're going to go back to the sink so that we can finish cleaning the other one. All right. Let's clean some of this grime out with our hands. Spray nozzle is so invaluable in situations like these. So again, we're going to clean the outside of it a little bit, rather wipe down the outside of it, and then we'll use some paper towels to wipe down the inside of it. Get it as dry as possible. More? Where are we at? How long have we been recording for? 1 hour and 52 minutes so far. Probably won't chalk up to the exact same thing in the edited down recording, but nearly 2 hours and many more hours spent doing prep work ahead of time. This is quite the undertaking, but we're making good progress. We are definitely making good progress. All right. That's good. I think that is good. Let's go ahead. Yeah, we're going to move these both over here. And you know what? This would be a good opportunity to actually bring in the full top-down camera, considering the enormity of the operation that we're going to be undertaking. I'm going to bring in our big old bowl of cake batter. And we're going to... Here we go. We can push those down there. Yeah, we're going to spray these things up. Make sure they're nice and greased. Same thing for this one. Something that got in my throat. Gonna get some water. With that, we don't actually need any more cooking spray, so we can put this in the trolley as well. Nice of it to go in there. All right. Like last time, we're going to get as much batter off of these things as we can. Hold on. I'm going to put this thing over there. All right. Back to these things. Yeah, I'm going to... Got to get as much batter off of these thingies as well. There we go. I think that's about as good of a job as we're going to do with that. Same thing with these things. And there we go. I think that's about as good as we're going to do. No. There we go. Get it in there. I'm just going to wipe down the backside of this spatula because I noticed that there's a lot of sour cream still there. All right. Get a good deal in there. Good deal in there. Now we'll spread them around and then we'll add more as needed. All right. Next up. I think they're pretty even, but I think this one can use some more batter over here. This one can probably use some over there and over there. Alright. Come on, get some more. Man, we're almost there. Almost there. Almost there. Just got to get a little bit more out of the bowl. There we go. We don't need this big old bowl anymore, so we're going to put it in our trolley as well. Hasta la vista. All right. So again, we're going to do our best to spread this batter all over these cake pans. It's very difficult because it's a very thick batter. It's not very soupy. We're going to do our best. Once again, though, why is it so difficult to get the batter into the crevasses of the corners? All right. My hands are once again a little sticky, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wash them a little. And then we will put our 2 cakes in the oven. This dish towel that I've been using to dry my hands is thoroughly soaked. I'm going to need to grab, maybe I'll grab a new one when I'm upstairs. Let's see here. I want to just review things real quick on my phone. Yeah, I think we're good. Let's go ahead. I'm going to transition away and put these 2 bad boys in the oven, and then I will be right back. Our second set of cakes are in the oven. Let me go and bring my beautiful face back into view, which means that it's time to finally move on to another step. It is time for step number 9. While our second set of cakes bake in the oven, we're going to make our frosting. We'll start by first mixing together 3 cups of butter with 32 ounces of cream cheese. Let's go ahead. We'll reuse the same bowl that we used earlier for our flour mixture. But I'm going to I'll grab just a thing of paper towel just so we can wipe it down. We will also need to melt more butter here. And actually, we're going to need to... Oh, before I forget, let's bring in our timer. Our 30-minute timer so that we can get that started. Toot sweet. There we go. I was going to say, we will also need to clean our hand mixer as well. We have a lot of things we're going to need to do. And not all the time in the world, so let's get started. First things first, I have a lot of spoons here that are really dirty that I use for various things. Let's go ahead. We're going to plop these spoons into our trolley. Make some space for ourselves. There we go. Yeah, we're going to go ahead next, and we need to really desperately clean our little things for our hand mixer and our spatula. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to bring the sync camera. The sync camera is really the MVP of my cooking streams. It's the MVP because we need to use it once again to clean our cooking utensils for the next step. There we go. This is taken care of. I'm going to put it here temporarily. All right. And spatula is cleaned as well. Perfect. Perfect. We are in good working order. Actually, I don't think we need to use a smaller measuring cup, so we can put that in the trolley as well. There we go. Let's see here. Let's prepare our butter. So one of these packages is equal to 2 cups of butter, so we can just go ahead and we can plop this in here. Like that. Big log of butter. We actually, we should probably cut this up a little bit just to make it a little bit easier to manage. Here we go. This was previously used for some of the other butter things. So we'll use this. And we also have this half thing of butter, which is equal to 1 cup, which is exactly what we need so that we have our 3 cups of butter. I'm going to put it in our bowl. That, and just so that we don't immediately go running upstairs again after we already put our cakes in the oven, let's measure out the cream cheese next. We need to, our cream cheese is located in our cooler pack. Our peel, whoops, sorry, I jostled the mic. I was going to say our peel had been resting against it, so I had to move the peel over to the side. All right. Let's get our cream cheese ready to go. That should be enough for now. Let's see here. In the original recipe, I'm curious, how much did it call for at this point? Probably like... Let's see here. Yeah, it's 16 ounces, so we're doing about twice the amount. And I'm assuming that for the butter, it was the same as well. Let's see here. Yeah, same idea. Okay. Let's go ahead. Where is... Here we go. We're going to use our... good old... what's it called? What's it called? Why is it not coming to me now? Digital scale to help us out here. Also, I need to use a pair of scissors to open these up. I think it would be a little messy if I didn't use scissors, so I'm going to use just that. All right. Let's see here. We're going to switch to ounces. It's about close to, but not quite 9 ounces. That's about 17 ounces. That is 26 ounces. Getting there, getting there. We got to get to 32. This will go in the recycling. So it's going to be a little bit less than this package that we have here. Let's see, and that's 35. Okay, so we gotta shave some of this off here. It's 34. $33. $32.6. 32.27. 32.07. It's a little... There we go. That's good. That's good enough for us. Alright. I'm going to put this little thing of cream cheese back in here for now. So, let's go ahead. We're going to put these in our bowl. And now I'm going to run upstairs so that we can microwave our butter. Probably the final time we'll have to microwave butter on here. 2 times the charm. Ugh. I was just so incredibly excited to come back in here and just have just an incredibly catchy thing to say. I was going to be like, 2 times the charm. Fuck! 2 times in a row I've messed it up because I'm just so fucking bad at pronouncing some words sometimes. What I was going to say was 2 times the charm. You know what's better than 2 times the charm? 3 times the charm. Because I've got butter melted for the 3rd time, baby. Let's go ahead. I'm going to mix our butter in here. Again, I'm going to scrape it in with our spatula. Get as much of it in there as I can. Now I might need to... Oops, there's a little bit of the wrapper on there. That wouldn't have been good. There we go. Oh, now that I'm mixing all this stuff up in this bowl, I'm beginning to wonder if maybe this bowl might be a little bit small from what I'm attempting to do. Yeah, this bowl's kind of small. You know what? Give me just a moment. Here we go. Bigger bowl for a bigger problem than we were anticipating. Let's go ahead. Let's get our mixture of butter and cream cheese in here. I need to scrape down the sides a little bit. You gotta hate it when you have to transfer something to a bigger bowl like this midway through, midstream, but better to do this than to have a calamity trying to mix it all up in a smaller bowl. Let's go ahead. I'm going to zoom out a little bit because it's kind of a big bowl, just to give people a better view of the action. Now we're going to mix this up. Actually, let me just want to very quickly. I know we were just getting off the ground. The plane was flying in the air, but I just want to check just to make sure there are no other ingredients. Nope, no other ingredients for now. Let's resume mixing. It's going to be a little tough at first, but just need to work the cream cheese. The cream cheese, ironically, ends up being the more difficult thing to mix now that the butter has been softened. I'm just going to do the thing where you rotate the thing in a circle. We're really going to work this stuff, just make sure that it's all nice and creamy and cohesive and soft before we move on to the next step. All right. As usual, we're going to use the spatula to just push things down a little bit, get it all in the center. Again, so we can make sure that it's as cohesive as possible. I don't need this thing anymore. I'm going to put it with the other bowls in the trolley below.
special time of year. I hope you all have a
All right.
time. I would like to wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas.
That's as good as we're going to do for now. Next up, we're going to mix in 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, half a cup of maraschino cherry liqueur, and 8 cups of confectioner's sugar until our frosting becomes nice and thick. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. We will, if our cakes aren't ready by then, we can always put our frosting in the fridge so it can thicken up there. Here we go. Let's talk a little bit about our maraschino cherry liqueur. I got this specifically for this particular cake. This is my first time in possession of one of these bottles, and it is quite the beaut. This is, of course, a product of Italy. I'm going to try just a tiny bit of it. It's a very alcoholic alcohol, 32% by volume. And I just want to try a tiny amount for myself before we mix this bad boy in here. Just there. Just a tiny amount. Of course, this is made from cherries, keeping in with the theme of the rest of the ingredients of the cake. All right. Ooh. Right there is an alcohol. Okay, I'm going to grab a paper towel just to wipe down this cup, this measuring cup, and then I'm going to we're going to measure out our maraschino cherry liqueur in the cup first. By the way, I kept the cherry liqueur in the trolley at first because I figured that better to keep it there than to keep it accidentally on the table and have it tumble over. So here we go. We need half a cup of the stuff. I plan on making some daiquiris with this stuff, actually, at our upcoming Christmas Eve party that we're going to have at the Kozi household. There's a daiquiri recipe on the back, a Hemingway daiquiri. You need to mix together 60 milliliters of white rum, 15 milliliters of cherry liqueur, 40 milliliters of grape juice, and 15 milliliters of lime juice. Serve with a maraschino cherry and maybe a little bit of lime zest. Let's go ahead. We're going to pour our liqueur into our cream cheese. What's next? Our vanilla extract. Can't forget about that. Of course, the top hasn't been pierced yet, so we're going to need to do that. No, I don't want to use that knife. And we'll use the main tablespoon is dirty once again with sour cream from earlier, so we'll use the half tablespoon. There we go. Half a tablespoon. And half a tablespoon, which makes a full tablespoon. Right. We're probably going to need to clean up on the table a little bit because our cakes are probably going to be coming out of the oven soon. So I'll just make a little bit of space here and there. Not too much. Let's go ahead. Let's measure in our powdered sugar. Got to get 8 cups of the stuff in here. We're definitely going to be filling this thing very close to the brim. That much is certain. Oof. This stuff, if you thought the cocoa powder was dirty, if you thought the cocoa powder made a mess, this stuff is way, way, way worse. All right. And here we go. You know what? Maybe we'll do it tablespoon, rather cup by cup. So right now we have, hold on, we still are not at 2 cups of this stuff. We got to get a little bit more in there. There we go. There we go. This is 2 cups of powdered sugar. Let's get that in there. Then let's mix it up a little bit, and then we'll do the next 2 cups. So we're at 2 cups now. We got to remember that. Okay, that's our first 2 cups. Let's do our next 2 cups. I think we'll be able to complete this before we got to take our next 2 cakes out of the oven. That'll be perfect timing if we can do that, in fact. More needed? And there we go. Now we're up to 4 cups. Ah, man. My back is killing me now. I gotta hang in there. All right. Let's do our next 2 cups. Well, I think that's it for this bag. I'm just gonna rip it wide open. So we can get some of the extra from the bottom in there. Here we go. That's our next 2 cups. I think we might have to take our cakes out of the oven before we get to our final 2 cups, but we'll see. There we go. All right. The end is in sight. Final 2 cups. Whoops. Did not mean to do that. I'm going to move this thing of icing sugar over here. And also, we don't need the salt anymore, so we can put the salt back in here. All right. Oh, did I put too much? All right, a little less. Now I have too little. Damn it. Now I probably have too much again. All right, and now we're about to get to the end of our cake timer, but I'm going to just finish mixing up our icing, and then we will go and we'll retrieve our cakes from the oven. Ding dong, ding dong. All right. All right. Okay. Crap. You know what? We're gonna take these things out of the thing like last time. Icing sugar is pretty tasty. I'm gonna move this over to this chair temporarily. I'm gonna grab our 2 hot plates, put them down on our table to shield our cakes when we take them out, and I'm going to be right back with them. I am back with 2 more lovely baked chocolate cakes, baked to perfection. We learned our lesson last time. Unlike last time, we're not going to rush to immediately take these cakes out of their things. We're going to let them cool just a little bit so that they're all nice and cohesive inside. And then we're going to take them out of their things. And same thing as last time, we're going to plop them onto our cake board on top of the other 2 cakes. Although we might be waiting a little bit in that regard. Let's see here. I'm just going to take a moment to just cut around the edges of these guys. Just get them nice and prepped like that. All right. Let me switch back over to half and half view. Also, we don't need the timer anymore, so let's bring the timer out of there. There we go. All right. Let's go ahead and read on to step number 11. After all of our cakes have baked and cooled sufficiently, we are going to be ready to start assembling our creation. First things first, we're going to place our bottom layer of chocolate cakes on our cake board, which we already did. And then we're going to shave off their sides so that they're uniformly square. Let's go ahead. I'm going to move a couple of things around. How hard are the edges of these? Still pretty hot. Okay. Let's grab, where are the Cosmic Eevee oven mitts? Here they are. I'm going to grab the Cosmic Eevee oven mitts. I'm going to use these to move some of the cakes over to the side. There we go, number one. I can actually move this thing over here to the couch temporarily. And number two. Okay, next step. You know what we're going to do? We're actually going to just take a quick moment to clean up a little bit on the table. So we're going to take our, what's it called? Our digital scale, and we're going to put that into our trolley. Same thing with this measuring cup. It's possible that we might need to make more cream cheese frosting later, but it's unlikely. We made quite a bit. I don't think that we're going to need to make that much more. We have all the ingredients on hand, just in case, but let's act for now like we don't necessarily need to make any more. This butter, I'm going to take this off as well. Put it in our cooler pack. Same thing with our vanilla. We're going to put that in the trolley. This other thing of icing sugar, we're going to put in the trolley. This cup, spoon. There's scissors. Man, my phone has gotten so dirty. Measuring spoons. And this other thing of icing sugar, which we're going to need to properly package and put away. All right. Same thing with this bowl that we were using for butter. Put that away in there. Sorry, that made a little bit of noise there. This bowl as well, we can put away. All right, now that we've made sufficient space, let's just clean our tabletop a little bit. This is where our paper towel is going to come in extra handy. Made such a mess with the powdered sugar. Right. I'm going to push this onto our hand. It's in the garbage. I'm going to do the same thing again, but this time I'm going to wet some of the paper towel a little bit. Man, thank God I put my Stream Deck in one of those Ziploc bags, because otherwise it would be filthy. It's definitely very keen thinking on my part. All right, and let's bring our cakes over here. Now, this is actually where let's bring in the full top-down view for this. This is actually where our measuring tape will come in a little bit helpful, because we can actually use this to measure out our cake and make it as square as possible. Let's just see right now. It's obviously not perfectly square, but it's about 15.5 inches by... it's about 11 point... Like, it's like 11 point... Between 11.5 and 11.75, basically. So we definitely need to cut off the edges on this side. Let's see here. Let's see here. You know what would be good? This actually... The pizza peel will actually come in very useful here. Just want to see if I can just... If I put it down like this, how clean of a cut are we getting? Okay. Okay. It's not bad. It's actually pretty good. I'm actually pretty pleased with that. I'll keep using it in that fashion. I thought I was going to need to use this knife, but I think that's going to be okay. I'll put some of the cake pieces in here for now. Let's see here. And now, so just to measure this again, this is about 11 and that very specific unit of measurement. And this is at about 15. Okay. And we can definitely... I'm just trying to think the best way we can cut this. Actually, I'm just realizing it's actually closer to 12 and a half. Yeah, this is... Yeah, I've been measuring this wrong. This is 12 and a half. 12 and a half, and this is 15. So we can definitely cut a little bit off from this side. Let's see, what's the edge here? This is about 4.5 centimeters. Right now, this is at just under 4 centimeters. There we go. This is exciting. This is very exciting. I should probably try some of this, by the way. Pretty good. Pretty good. Okay. Let's see where we're at. It's at about 14.25 inches. And once again, this is 12.5. Let me look at it from this perspective, just so I can get the best view on this. Yeah, we can keep going a little bit. We have another cake piece. Also, I've not forgotten about the icing. I will get around to it in just a bit. I'm just mixing it up off screen a little. Okay. This cake stuff's good. Addictive. All right. I'm curious, how much spaces are on these other edges? Let's see, this is just about 7 centimeters. This is 7 centimeters. So if I get 7 centimeters on the other two sides, it should be very close to where we want it to be. And now it's about 5. Okay. So let's see. So 7 centimeters is about here. Yeah, that's 7. And same thing on this side. All right. Where is... Here we go. Using those as reference points, we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut out another little column of cake. There we go. Good stuff. Now, if we do this, it's a little bit under 7. It's all right. And we'll push this back into the cake. Again, we'll be able to do a more thorough cleanup job later on. Same thing here. Actually, we'll move this around. There we go. And where is our peel? Here we go. Oh, I'll push it more to the center. Sorry about that. All right. I think that I needed I'm going to switch over. I'm going to put all our cake pieces. We've been piling up in this small bowl, and clearly we need a bigger bowl for this. All right, now let's measure this bad boy. Let's see here. This is, yeah, about 12.5 inches by about 12.5 inches. I think it's maybe a little bit, I mean, it depends. It's obviously not perfectly even, but I think that's pretty good. I think that's around what we want it to be, which is good. Okay, now this is where things are going to get a little complicated, because we got to take our 2 other cakes out of their containers. Actually, I should probably wait a little bit longer, but when we take them out of their containers, we're going to need to cut them a little bit. And it might be a little complicated. We'll probably... I'd imagine we'll probably just want to put them directly on the thing. That'll probably be make the most sense. Let's see here. I'm looking around. Right, here we go. I wanted some water. From our water bottle. Okay. Let's go ahead. I'm going to move this over to the side. I'm going to bring our thingy in there. And actually, hold on. Hold on, hold on. I just realized we actually don't necessarily need to put them on right away because there's actually a few steps that we need to take care of before we can put the other cakes on here. So the other cakes will remain where they are for now. Sorry, I've been getting a little bit ahead of myself. I'm a little bit tired. I forgot the exact instructions that we're supposed to do next. Let's go ahead and let's consult our instructions. So after basically filing our cake off so that it's perfectly square, the next step is we're going to spread a portion of our frosting on the bottom layer of the cake, then spread the remaining cherry mixture on top of that, close to the edge but not all the way, and then follow that up with another layer of frosting. That's the current set of steps. So let's go ahead, let's bring our frosting back in here. Let's see here. This is actually where we can finally begin to use our frosting spatula, which is exciting. All right. I'm going to try to be careful because the cake is still a little unstable. Obviously on this side more so than on this side, but still something that we have to be mindful of. Here we go. We can use one of the knives to brush some of these frosting off onto the cake. Ugh. All right, I'm gonna keep going. Done most of our frosting on the good side, and now we're gonna go and transition over to the dark side. The dark side, the side that got a little bit banged up when we were taking it out of the pan. Here we go. Part got a little bit ruined. I'm going to get some cream cheese frosting in there so we can fix it up to the best of our ability. There we go. Yeah, we'll use the knife for this. Yeah, you know what? I'll switch to the knife for a little bit here, seeing as how this is a little bit more precarious. Here we go. I'm just doing some last minute touching ups. Frosting. Just spreading it in places where it wasn't previously spread to. Making sure that we've applied enough frosting. The edges. This bad boy. I think we're pretty good. Let me just do a little bit more. Okay, I think that's good. I think that's good enough. Let's see here. Let's see here. Put the knife against that. Use just a paper towel to quickly wipe down my fingers. Right. Next up is the cherry spread. This is going to be interesting. Let me get the cherry spread out of here. So I have an issue with the cherry spread. My issue is that the cherry spread is kind of watery in a way that I'm not super happy with. So I'm actually going to go ahead. I'm going to switch over to the sync camera, and I'm actually just going to get rid of some of the excess juice so that we're mostly left with the more kind of cohesive parts of the cherry mixture. The more fruity part. Man, this is going to be quite the epic cleanup. And quite the late night cleanup, too. If you've been paying attention to the lower right corner of the video, you can actually see in real time exactly when I was baking this thing. Let me tell you, it's a bit late at night. I don't think it's, we've not passed over into the 24th yet. Yeah, I didn't mention this earlier, but we are actually doing this on December 23rd. But if we keep going longer, eventually we will get to the 24th. Oh, nope. Nope, I didn't want you spilling over. And there's still so much juice. Second, we can't do anything about the cherries that spilled into the sink. Let me just... There we go. Get as much juice out there, so we're just left with normal-ass, albeit very syrupy, cherries. Okay, this is... Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Hold on, let me move it over here so that it's less likely to fall. Again, this is going to be quite the cleanup. I feel bad that we had to waste some of the cherries like that, but this is what we got to do if we want this thing to not be a disaster. This is something, I didn't really mention this earlier, but last time I made this cake, I actually ran into this exact problem where the cherry mixture was a little bit too soupy, and it caused the whole thing to come across as very... Yeah, it was very soupy, and it kind of hurt the integrity of the cake, and so this time around I'm just trying to be careful that we don't have a repeat of last time. All right, this knife is clean, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start putting our cherry on here. All right, this is pretty good. I think I definitely dodged a bullet trying to remove some of the excess juice a little bit earlier. There we go. Put the Tupperware back into our trolley. Now we're going to spread these out so that they're kind of evenly distributed, but we're still going to make sure that there's a good gap between the cherries and the edge of the cake. So you don't want them spilling out. There we go. I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good already. Already we are off to a better foot than we were the last time I made this particular cake. And now, let me just check my notes again. Let's see here. And then, yeah, we have to follow up with another layer of frosting. This is going to be a little... I'm going to try my best with this next layer of frosting, but this is going to be a little weird with the cherries directly underneath it. All right. You know what we need is we need we need a spoon to like put the frosting on the cake, and then we'll use the fork to spread it out. That way we don't get our spoon dirtied with the cherry mixture while we do so.
Love to keep a little bit of Christmas, to catch that magic feeling in the air. And when life seems to lose its glow, wouldn't it be good to know I'd have a bit of Christmas here to share? I'd love to keep a little bit of Christmas, always have that special time in store.
There we go. I think we're doing a pretty good job. Pretty good job. It's almost like performing surgery at this point with how careful we're trying to be with the cream cheese frosting, but I think we're doing the best that we can. There we go. I mean, it almost looks like surgery with how red and bruised it looks. I tasted a little bit of the icing with the cherries mixed into it. That was very good. This is going to be a tasty cake. So now we're just doing a little bit of cleanup along the edges where some of the cherries didn't get as much. Then we'll move on to the next step.
Put it to one side for times of doubt. And if I'm ever feeling blue, I would know just what to do. Let a bit of Christmas magic out.
Right. Can do a little more. Just do a little bit in this corner over here, and then I think we're going to have to move on to the next step. And a little bit over here. Some of these cherries can definitely use a little bit more coating. And there we go. All right. You know what? Let me wipe some of the icing off on some of these cake rusks so I can have them with a little bit of the icing. Mm. Mm-mm. This is going to be good. Yeah, this is going to be good. Mm. Yes, very good. All right. Some more water. Let's move on to our next step. Let's see here. We finished step 12, step 13. We're going to put our second layer of chocolate cakes on top of this, and then once again, shave off their sides until they are uniformly square. Okay, this is where things get a little complicated. Let's grab our peel. Also, maybe I should do it... Well, I'm going to have to do it like this no matter what. There we go. Push that out. You know what? Let me very carefully move some things out of the way. Give myself some more space so I can do it on terra firma. It's not coming out. That's not good. Come on, I need to push. This is like trying to resuscitate someone. Oh. This half is not out fully. Oh, there we go. Well, this one didn't fully... it seems like I just probably didn't apply enough... Probably did not apply enough of the non-stick spray, I guess. I'm gonna get this piece out here. Then we're gonna... Here we go. This is a good, clean spoon. I'm gonna apply a good daub cream cheese frosting in here. I'm gonna stick this piece from whence in the place from whence it came. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. And now we have to carefully slide this thing onto our cake. Hold on, let me do this at a little bit of an angle. Oh, I was hoping there wouldn't be overhang, but there's a little bit of an overhang. Okay. Well, we can... this is not going as well as I was hoping it would go, but let's focus on fixing what we can fix right now. We're going to cut off the edges over here. There we go. Probably going to need to shape it down a little bit more, actually. Let's see. There we go. Gonna continue to shave down the edge till we get it to where we would like it to be. There's a little part over here where I feel like we could actually insert some of the cake that we took out. Let's do that.
Making plans for spending time with those we hold most dear. Writing cards and choosing gifts all full of festive cheer. It starts to feel like Christmas time is here. Snow and sparkle everywhere. Songs of joy are in.
Okay. I think that's good for that side. I think that's about as good as we're gonna get it. Okay. Next side. Gonna flip it around. I know the cake board right now is kind of dirty, but we can fix it later in post. Same thing as the last time. Gonna plop our cake on here. Actually, I should do it like this. And you're gonna push. And hopefully it'll plop right out. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Amazing. Wunderbar. Wonderful. And now, you know what? Hold on. My hands are a little bit dirty. Let me go and use the sync camera real quick. We can actually pre-cut that cake before we actually put it on the rest of the cake that we're supposed to put it on. That'll make our lives much easier. Okay. Sync camera out. Let's see here. How much do we want? We have about 5 1/4 inches. 5 1/4 inches. So I'll do a little more like that. Yeah, and then we can trim off more as we go. There's 2 big O pieces of cake. Now, put this piece of cake right here. Boom. Well, that went very well. That went very, very well. I thought that might end in disaster, but that went quite well. Okay, let me... Yeah, I'm just going to shave down. I'm going to push down in the center a little bit. I'm going to shave down the edges on this side. Okay. I think that's pretty good. All right, now we have a huge thing right here of cake mixed with icing. Into my mouth it goes. Good stuff. Alrighty. We are looking good. And now, let's move on to the next step. Step 14. We're going to carefully separate the sections of our cake that form the respawning fire logos, red and yellow squares, and then carefully push them apart. Each square is going to be about 1/4 of the logo's total width times the 1/4 of the total logo's total height. So we got to use that calculation when we figure out how much we got to push away. Let me get my handy dandy measuring tape out again. Let's see here. We have... now it's actually up to like 13. Interesting. 13 inches by... It's like a little less than that. Like now it's like 12.5 by 13. Interesting. I wonder why it's a little... Anyways. Let's see here. This side. So if it's 13-ish, then... Let's see here. What's 13 divided by 2 is 6.5. What's 6.5 divided by 2? It is... no, hold on. 6.5 divided by 2 is 3.25. So 3.25 inches. Although actually, now I think about it, I wonder if... You know what? I'm actually going to cut off the pieces. Like this, actually. I think it'll be easier if I do it like this. Okay. Let's see here. From this perspective. Yeah, 12.5. So, let's see here. 12.5 divided by 2 is 6.25, which is, I mean, it's in the middle. I can't really go much differently than that. Let's see here. Yeah, I can just do it on the ground like this. 6.25. Let me just remove some of the frosting. Put that over here, because I don't want it to really damage the thing. Okay. And here, from this perspective, let's see here. 13. It's actually almost like 13.5 inches, which is more than I thought it would be. But we go to the original thing of 13 point... No, let's just do 13 divided by 4. 13 divided by 4 is 3.25, so... 3.25. 3.25. It's about... No, hold on.
Rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay.
Does this seem right?
Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas
I think that this is
to save us all
about what we want. So let's do that.
we're gonna stray.
Right.
Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Tidings, comfort and joy.
It's going to be a little precarious because this piece is sort of partially falling apart. But there we go. Hold on. We need to... Yeah, we're going to need to do a little bit of repair work on those pieces, but we'll save that for later. Okay. Same thing on this side. And this is, 12.5. 12.5, which means 6.25 is where we got to cut it on this side. 6.25. Should be good. There we go, just as a reference. And again, for this side. Actually, we can use centimeters here. It's 33 centimeters. And so 33 divided by a fourth is 8.25. So we got to get it to 8.25. I think that's good. There we go. So same thing as the other side. Now we're gonna move those. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. That is taken care of. We're very nearly there. We're very nearly there. All right. Let's move on to the next step. This is a big step. We're going to separate portions of our white frosting to bowls and color those potion. Let me restart from the beginning here. I got a little bit too horny at the beginning there. Also, it is 12:50, so yeah, we're well into the 24th at this point. Whoops. We're going to separate portions of our white frosting into bowls and color those portions red, yellow, and blue with food dyes. And then we can, make more frosting later on if we want to. And then, yeah, the idea is we're going to spread our red, yellow, and blue frostings on their corresponding cake sections and then push all these sections back together. Fairly straightforward, but obviously there will be unexpected challenges in this for sure. Let's see here. I'm going to grab a big old dollop of cream cheese frosting and put it in this bowl over here. You know what? We're running out of spoons and we're running out of knives. I'm going to go upstairs real quick and get some. I've come back with new knives and spoons in tow. Let's go ahead. Let's make our yellow frosting first. Yellow will be good. Just going to add some fruit coloring to our bowl. We'll mix it up with the spoon. Make ourselves a nice yellow color. Not going to be exactly like the yellow color featured on the logo, but it'll be close enough. And then, yeah, we'll grab a knife. Or maybe what we'll do is we'll do the method from earlier where we use a spoon to put some of the frosting on, and then we'll spread it with the knife. All right. Get this out of the way.
Mistletoe and sleigh bells everywhere. Memories for everyone to share. Stockings hung on every chimney, pretty Christmas trees. Peace and love is what the season brings. And I can't wait to get back home. It's the best time of year for everyone.
Unfortunately, it's sort of difficult not to mix some of the chocolate cake into the frosting itself as we spread it around, which is one of the problems that we're dealing with here, but I think this is about as good as we're going to get it.
Wrapping presents by the fireside. Santa's almost ready for his ride. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everybody sing. And spend a little time with family.
Okay, hold on. Let me get some more yellow frosting on here, on this side.
It's the best time of year for everyone around the world. The best time of year for all the boys and all the girls. The best time of year to fill you up with lots of cheer. The best time of year for everyone around the world. For everyone around the world.
Okay. It's all right. Next up, let's grab another bowl. And same thing, but for the red frosting. Ah,
It's the best time of year for everyone around the world.
all right.
Of year. Oh yeah! It's the best time of year for everyone around the world. The best time of year for all the boys and all the girls. The best time of year to fill you up with lots of cheer. Best time
And here we go. Gonna mix this bad boy up. It's more pink than red. I could reason that I could add maybe a little bit more red. Let's do that. We'll put the cap on this. All right, I think that's good enough. Ah. Same thing as last time. We'll put on a dollop and we'll let one of our knives do the talking. Okay, I can... There we go. And now we can shift the thing upside down so we can do the other two ones. Very close. Very close. Okay. Let's see here. So this is so this one is going to be, I'm a little confused. Right. This one is yellow, and this one is going to be red. Good enough. Yeah, we're approaching the end of the stream where, look, it's not going to look incredible, but man, I want to sleep. And we're doing good enough of a job that I'm willing to call things as is. All right, get a little bit more. In the corner here, hold on, I can get a little bit more on the edge here as well. Here we go, pretty good. Okay, next up, last but certainly not least, is the blue icing. Hands have gotten a little bit dirty. I'm going to go and use the sink once more. Probably the last time on this stream. Say goodbye to the sink camera. And sink camera's out of here. Let's go ahead. We have our bowl here. It's relatively clean. We're going to use our big old icing spatula for this one. Let's scoop our icing in here. And we'll grab some blue food coloring and drop it in here. Let's see here. Here we go. This is a good spoon. I'll mix this up. There we go. That's a good blue color. I'm actually very pleased with how this particular blue color looks. There we go. So let's go ahead. We're going to drop just a whole bunch of dollops of the stuff on the cake. Going to wipe the white icing off of our icing spatula, and now we're going to use it with the blue. Right. We're going to need some more frosting. I think we are going to need some more frosting. Yes, we are definitely going to need some more frosting. More drops of the stuff in here. Mix it up. So the deeper parts of the frosting weren't properly mixed together. Let me just do that real quick. All right. All right. Sorry, I haven't talked in a moment. It's just trying to focus very intently as we come to the end of this cake baking extravaganza. Almost there. Almost there. We just got to do a little bit in some of the corners. It's got a little... Oh, no! Last minute. We have a last minute major operation that we got to deal with. Hold on. Can't have these two colors mixing. Let's get... Where's a... Here we go. This is a clean knife. Oh no! Ah! I keep making mistakes. Hold on. It's a little hard to see, but I accidentally spread some of the red blue frosting on the red piece up above. Hold on a sec. Okay, same thing here. Do a quick rescue operation. Remove some of the blue icing and replace it with more red. All right. Ah, man. Man, oh man. Man, oh 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 man. That was quite the undertaking, but we're finally ready to push this bad boy back together. Let's do that right now on this side. Yeah, it's, I guess, fine as is. And do it again on this side. And there we go. Not bad looking at all. I know I said earlier that the last time I was going to bring in the sync cam would be for washing my hands earlier, but I'm going to wash my hands one more time because I have one final surprise. One last surprise to share with you all. All right. Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. There we go. We actually have respawning fire text, and I am going to properly position it over the logo. We'll go ahead and I'll take a screenshot of that, but you know what? I think I can make the text a little bit bigger. There we go. There we go. And I'm going to take another screenshot of that. I think that looks really good. And I'll take one more screenshot like that. And then there we go. All right. Let me just scroll down here. Whew! This was quite the undertaking. Quite the just crazy last minute thing that, man, when I set out to make this particular culinary creation that you see in front of you, I knew it was going to take a long time. I knew it was going to be crazy intensive. I did not expect it to be 4 hours intensive, nearly 4 hours, plus many, 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 many more hours that I spent prepping things ahead of time. But lo and behold, we have our culinary creation right in front of us. I'm not going to eat it right just yet because we want to save it for tomorrow. But, man, this is a fun time. This was a fun-ass time. Thank you to everybody for tuning in to tonight's special episode. Remember that this production you just watched is part of a series of monthly rotating shows we do, and that you can enjoy new installments of the show a month early if you subscribe to us on Patreon over at patreon.com/respawnaimfire. We deeply appreciate your support and encourage any feedback you might have on how to make these episodes even better. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. Hope you guys have a happy 2025, because I'm currently recording this in 2024, and I don't know exactly how the new year is going to go, what new troubles or strife it will bring. I mean, I can sort of name a few troubles it's going to bring. But nevertheless, take care, have a good day, have a good night, enjoy some cake tonight.